Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am your host for today's episode, Robert Garcia, aka Young RG, as Coach Defense likes to call me. Welcome back to the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. On today's episode, I'm going to be kicking off our sleeper series for this week as we approach draft day this coming April 24th, I believe. That's Thursday, I want to say. And so, kicking off this episode, I am going to be going over. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Team sleeping on in the 2025 NFL draft. But I am going to be going over the quarterbacks and the running backs. So it's a little bit tough with quarterbacks because there aren't necessarily, I mean, it's hard to have sleepers. Um, Quarterback is like the one position in the league where you're either somebody coming out of college or you're really not talked about all that much. I know, barring you winning a national championship or something like that. And we see all the time guys that win natties that, don't really amount to anything in the NFL. But with running backs, it's a little bit more exciting, especially with this running back class. It is a very deep one. Um, and I actually put out a video talking about some of our favorite players coming out of the draft. You go check that out. I believe that was last month in March. I also covered running backs in that video as well. So kicking off this list right here, we have the quarterbacks, and we're going to be starting with Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. Now, Quinn is projected to be around a third-round pick, so I know it's not too much of a sleeper, but I think just given the other quarterbacks that are in this draft, I don't think many people are looking at Quinn Ewers that much at all. And I don't want to say rightfully so, but there's not a whole lot to love about him, but I do believe, and when we do this video about sleepers, this isn't necessarily saying that they're going to come out and be, star-studded amazing players. Some of these guys will be career backups, and that's okay. There's a lot of value in being a backup quarterback in this league and having consistent backup quarterback play. We've seen a lot of times where teams are kind of the ship doesn't sink when the starting quarterback goes out. I mean, the Chiefs have done it multiple times, including Chase Daniel in the I think it was the divisional round against the Browns when Baker Mayfield was still there, and the Browns were hot. He came in it for and played for an entire half, and basically again just let the ship stay afloat. You have a Maserati, just don't crash it. Just put it in cruise and let the players around you, let the coaching do its job, let the defense do its job. So there's a lot of value in doing that. And so I say that all and basically to say that I think Quinn Ewers can be a very valuable backup quarterback in this league. He was obviously a number one overall prospect coming out of high school. Um, he has amazing arm talent, and he has flashes where you look at him and you're like, oh my God, that could be somebody who like starts in the NFL like 1000%. Like he could be a just bona fide all pro, but there's just certain consistencies, with getting stuck on his first read. He doesn't have that great footwork, and so he kind of doesn't really throw to his receivers in stride. And that's obviously a really big problem in the NFL because the windows you get in college are not going to be what they are in the NFL. They get smaller and smaller and smaller, and there's moments when you got to be pinpoint accurate, and there's just times where he hasn't shown that, and he doesn't really do a great job taking his or using his eyes to take linebackers and safeties off the ball. That's a really big uh, skill to have being in the NFL as a quarterback. I mean, all the greats have it. Mahomes, Rodgers. I mean, just name all the great quarterbacks in the league. They're able to look off safeties and look off linebackers. And I mean, the no look pass has become extremely relevant as we progress through the league. It's obviously a much heavy passing league. But I just wanted to put up a couple stats for him. 6'2", 214. So, not great measurables you're looking for in a quarterback. The weight's pretty all right. Hand size 9 inches, about typical. and he'll be 22 at the start of the season. So, young guy can absolutely sit in the system for a long time, kind of develop it, learn it. And I think become a very valuable backup in this NFL. And hey, man, backups make a lot of money. You could be a very successful backup quarterback in this league. I mean, I don't even need to go through all the names, but there is a lot, and there's a lot of value in having a backup quarterback. My next quarterback that we're going to be talking about is Will Howard out of Ohio State. A little bit older than Quinn Ewers coming into this draft. He's 23, and I actually believe he'll be 24 later on in that month. I think he turns 24 in late September or something like that. 6'4", 236, so a lot better measurables than Will Howard. Obviously, got about 20 more pounds on him, 2 feet taller. Same hand size, more or less. I think Will Howard, I think Quinn Ewers did have like 3/8 of an inch more or something like that. I really don't take into account any of that. But obviously, talking about Will Howard, his size and that toughness is obviously his big thing that he brings to the table. He's shown good, consistent improvement every year he was at Ohio State, and when he was actually at Virginia State, I want to say, or Washington State, something like that. Or no, Kansas State. I'm sorry, he was at Kansas State. Yeah, when he was over at Kansas State. So that's always something you like to see if you can improve every year. Obviously, that's a great sign. He's can work off platform, has really good efficiency when throwing the ball. He uses his legs on zone reads a lot for short yardage carries, so that's always a great sign if you're able to run the QB, or run the option plays with your QB. But there is obviously some things he struggles with, like he's struggles in tight windows, throwing outside the numbers. Another thing that similar to Quinn Ewers, struggles with eye manipulation, trying to keep defenders guessing, stuff like that. And he had a lot of contested throws bailed out by some great wide receivers at Ohio State. So that's obviously not something that you can necessarily rely on as you go into the NFL. You have to put a lot more responsibility on the quarterback rather than the wide receivers. Although the wide receivers are better, of course, the quarterbacks are expected to be that just that much better. Pardon me. But yeah, like I said, another guy who I think can be a very consistent backup quarterback in this league. I also think, just given his toughness, I know he doesn't really have the speed for it, but he's somebody, if he wants to be a tush push merchant, barring that play getting banned, bringing him in for those short yardage QB sneak situations, I think could be very useful to a team like the Cardinals that have kind of a smaller quarterback, or just the teams in general that have smaller quarterbacks. So now going over to the running backs, this is my personal favorite part of the video here. My first guy up here is Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech. Had a 4.52 40 time, so not all that great. Weighs 215 coming into this at the draft, or at the combine where he was measured. 16 reps of the bench press, pretty all right, pretty standard for a running back. And had a 35-inch vertical jump. So some pretty good measurables all around. Obviously, the 40 time could be a little bit better. Doesn't have breakaway speed, and that is one of his weaknesses coming into this draft. But looking at the positives of him, he's an absolute stout runner, workhorse, had 633 touches for Texas Tech's offense over the last 2 seasons, which is, I mean, I guess you could look at that as a strength and a weakness. Just a lot of used miles on that car. He rushed for 100 yards in 19 out of his 22 games, which is obviously great to see. He's a built man. He will put you on your ass if you try to go high on him. And he's also a very solid catcher out of the backfield. So that's always a great asset to have in a running back. However, kind of going on the flip side of that, and this obviously ties into that slow speed of his, he's not a very explosive pass catcher. So when he does get the ball in his hands, he's really not going far with it. And he obviously lacks that, getaway speed at the second level. So, somebody who's going to churn, 4 or 5 yards potentially for you, can maybe even get a first down or two here or there, but not somebody who's going to take it to the crib. He's not, touchdown waiting to happen, essentially. But I think he could be a very solid, third down back for one of these teams. It's a very heavy running back draft, so you can pick this guy up probably in the 5th, 6th round potentially, and get some pretty incredible value out of him. He's obviously a captain at Texas Tech, so yeah, I really like Taj Brooks coming out of this draft. And finishing it off, guys, my last player of the draft, we are going to be looking at RJ Harvey out of University of Central Florida. Flip side from Taj Brooks, blazing 40 speed, ran a 4.440, even 4.440 at that. 5'8", so a little bit on the smaller side. Weighs 205, obviously a little bit less than Taj Brooks. 16 reps, exact same as Taj Brooks, so funny enough. And actually, guys got some hops, 38-inch vertical, which is nice to see. And now looking over at RJ Harvey, he had really impressive productivity over his last 2 seasons. He loves the workload. I mean, if you give this guy 25, 30 carries a game, which is really not seen that often in this NFL day and age, he will wear your opponents down. And that's a great quality to have. Somebody that, you may only be picking up 2 or 3 yards in that first half, but by that fourth quarter, he's churning out 5, 6, 7 yards and, has that endurance to be able to withstand that. He's a low cut body type, so he's got amazing balance on his toes. And guys who tackle him high are to be messed with, to say the least. The only thing is he doesn't have, similar to Taj Brooks, doesn't have that great of burst. His elusiveness can use a little bit of work as well. Doesn't have that great instincts as well, running in between tackles, trying to feel for the lanes and how they develop in the NFL. And he is not that great of a pass protector. So that's obviously kind of I don't want to say a huge red flag, but when you're drafting a running back later in the draft, one of the big things you're looking out for is, can he defend the pass? And fortunately, RJ Harvey, not something that he exactly excels in. But like I said, another guy who 4.440, so has that speed, can break away at any time. He may not take it to the house, because there are some damn fast DBs and cornerbacks and safeties in this league. But he's still somebody I feel like that can contribute at a high level, will give you valuable snaps. And I think he's potentially somebody that you draft with kind of I don't want to say the intent, but you kind of have that in the back of your mind. Your running back is a little bit injury prone, and here's somebody that you can, and let's say you're a run heavy offense. Like, for instance, I think if in the mock draft that we posted yesterday, because this is going to go live on Wednesday, today, my time, the mock draft 2.0, obviously I had the Raiders in that draft, and I had them taking Genty with the number 6 overall pick. I think RJ Harvey is somebody that you could absolutely take with like a 6th round pick, maybe even 7th round pick. We'll see. Like I said, this running back class is stacked. So we'll see if there's a huge run on them, or if guys kind of fall, even further than they're expected to. But I think this is somebody that you could definitely draft when you double up on running back, essentially. And, obviously you never hope for injury, but just planning for it and having somebody that can withstand that amount of carries in a run heavy offense, that's valuable. And if you're able to get a 6th or 7th round pick for that, I think he can provide a lot of value for a team. But that is going to do it for me, guys. Let me go ahead and clear myself out here. Take a look at our socials, myself and the gang. Working on getting an Instagram up and running. Been extremely busy lately with just work and some other things, but definitely working on that for you guys. And obviously, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate your support. Check us out on all our other socials here at Lockdown Defense Sports. Want to thank you guys for coming on with me. Oh, where am I at? There I am. I want to thank you guys for joining me on today's episode of the Sleeper Series, going over quarterbacks and running backs. Be on the lookout for the other members of the Hit Squad posting their videos this week, going over the other offensive positions. Definitely want to check those out. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you in the next one.